Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Saturday evening and today I was looking at what I needed to do budget wise, and it got me to thinking how we've come through this cost of living crisis the way we have. Um, because for many people it's been so difficult, such a shock to the system, this sudden increase in costs, especially energy costs. And then, of course, it bled through to costs of shopping, etc. And it became something that we had to deal with pretty damn quickly. So I was sitting today going, so how did we do that? And I know that one of the first things I did, because I had started prepping by then, not too much, but I had started. So one of the first things I did was cut my shopping bill and cut my power bill. And you know, when you think about that and went, yeah, I cut my shopping quite heftily. Like, well, how? How did you do that? And one of the first things was I shopped reduced. I shopped reduced meat and put it in the freezer. I shopped reduced veg and preserved it, put it in the dehydrator so that I could use it in casseroles, etc. So I didn't buy an awful lot of stuff that was full price. I also would sit with the supermarket websites and see who had what offer on. So you would get things that were on offer in Asda's one week, but they were maybe on offer in Tesco's the next week. So if I was having to buy something, then I would get it from whatever shop had it in offer. Also, that's when I started using the farm food vouchers / coupons. You know, we get a leaflet through our door every month with the offers and the little money off vouchers. Now, it's £2 off every 25 spent, which is not a huge amount, but that means that something like my loaf of bread and my pack of potatoes or something is free. So I'm basically getting a couple of items for free. And that's not to be sniffed at. Especially when you start, if you go for the bigger shop and stock up, like I did last time. What was it, 80 something pound I spent? I got £7 off. So that makes a big difference when taken as a whole. So that has definitely made a difference to the way I shop. And then we started, once I had started buying the reduced meats and reduced veg, etc., then I started doing more batch cooking. I started having more pre-prepared meals in the freezer. And my purchasing of ready meals or throw in the oven meals nosedived. We have very few of them in the freezer at the moment. Every so often we'll do something, we'll maybe go to Farm Foods and get some stuff, or we'll maybe go to Iceland and get some stuff. But the majority of the food we eat now is home prepared. Even for our sandwiches, I use the gammons that you get in the supermarket, boil them up myself and then slice them thinly. That's what we use for sandwiches. We don't buy the 4 slices of pre-cooked ham at £2 a packet. It's, it's a false economy. And plus the fact it's got preservatives, etc. in it. I'd rather do my own and freeze it and then take it out as I need it. And all in all, that has saved me a huge amount in shopping. You've seen the videos where I go and get my shopping. You've seen where I was struggling a couple of times with depending on what bills I had to pay when I was working off a £20 a week. And I could do that and actually have some left over for the next week, so that if there was something bigger that I needed to buy that took my budget over £20, then I could do that. So that has been one of the biggest savings that I have made. And the other one is energy costs. As if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know that this house was all electric. We had storage heaters and panel heaters, that was it. And we had the 2-tier costs. So our day-to-day electricity was much more expensive than normal because we got cheaper heating electricity. Trust me, it wasn't worth it. That was not worth it at all. And eventually what we did was we ripped out the storage heaters. We took out the 2 meters and got the electricity company to put in a single meter. And then I got the wood stove. And that has made a big difference. Using an air fryer instead of an oven is a huge difference for me, because a lot of that time I was here myself. Kathleen was staying away. So for one person, it's definitely a fantastic thing to use the air fryer rather than use the oven. So that changed. We got the water heater and put it on a timer so that it wasn't reaching just a temperature and then automatically started kicking in again. So the hot water tank is now on a timer. And all those little things have made such a huge difference to my budgeting that it means that I don't actually feel that I've changed the way I live. And really, I haven't changed the way I live. I actually live much healthier now. But I've certainly changed the way I've been spending. And that has allowed me to keep going the way I'm going. It's allowed us to have the holidays. It's allowed me to say to Kathleen, yes, you can have a dog. There's all those things there that we would really have struggled with. And although the holidays and the dog are the nice bonuses, there's also the things like the car tax, the car repairs, things like that that have to be paid for, that, although difficult, have not been as bad as they could have been had I not been able to cut my costs. So yeah, that was my thought process for today, because as I say, I was sitting looking at my budget thinking, okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. And I was like, do you know, you're hashtagging cost of living everywhere, but actually you're not being crucified yet. What's going on? And although it doesn't seem like a big difference just now, I'm quite sure there's very many of us. If we look back at how we used to spend 3-4 years ago to how we spend now, there will be some subtle changes that you've made every so often that actually, if you look back 4 or 5 years, it's huge changes. And certainly my electricity usage and what we eat are 2 very, very large changes. Both, I have to say, for the better. So now I'm going to go and stop the dog chewing that cardboard box, and I'll catch you later. Callie.